Hello, welcome everyone. Good morning. Thank you all for finding time and also attending today's webinar. I'm Claire. I'm a business consultant from CTI Resources, and I'll be your moderator for the session today. So welcome to the fourth series of our hosted webinar today, Asset Performance Management, Improve Reliability, Safety, and Efficiency. So before we start the session, I just want to quickly explain the interface on GoToWebinar. So you can hide the control panel at your convenience. So you can see on the screen shared to you right now. Raise hand should you need any assistance, and use the question box for us to attend to your inquiries at the Q&A session, which is at the end of the webinar. So today's webinar is exclusively hosted by CTI Resources and Aveva. So CTI Resources is actually a distributor of Aveva, which is a global leader in engineering and industrial software. CTI Resources also provides Industry 4 solution and distributes systems such as SCADA, HMI, telemetry, wireless, engineering design, and fingerprint identification systems. We offer digital transformation across the asset and operational lifecycle to deliver improved profitability and operational excellence to the industry. So this is actually the fourth series of our hosted webinars, and we have discussed smart manufacturing, discrete manufacturing system, and cybersecurity in the previous sessions. I believe it is significantly useful for a lot of us. So today, as the title suggests, we are having the topic of asset performance management, improve reliability, safety, and efficiency. At the end of the webinar, we will also share to you briefly on our upcoming webinar, which is Cloud and AI, the Game Changer, falling on the 9th December, Wednesday, right? So today we are pleasured to have our speakers, Arvind Singh, a speaker from Aveva, and also Yong Chun-jet, speaker from Y&Y Technology, on board with us today to share to you on how to write on the APM, which is Asset Performance Management Technology, to make the most out of your business. All right. So Arvind Singh is an asset performance management expert with close to 20 years of international experience in the field of asset management. Arvind, as Aveva's very passionate global APM business leader, has played key roles in creating, managing, and leading multidisciplinary teams across all pillars in APM, from the front-end engineering design requirement to operational and maintenance readiness to continuous plant optimization. As a digital transformation architect, Arvind's clear vision has helped translate companies' business drivers into tangible strategy operational objectives. So I'll pass the screen to Arvind, and let us welcome him.
Thanks very much, Claire. Can everybody hear me? Is it audible, Claire?
Yes, it's perfectly fine here.
Great. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Claire, and thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. My name is Arvind Singh. I am the Global APM Business Leader at Aveva, providing strategic business advisory in Aveva for all our business leaders in the industry, right? So helping them formulate a robust digital transformation journey, creating a roadmap and maximizing their overall return. Now, especially in today's very volatile environment, we understand that operators are under amounts of pressure to ensure they can still perform as required while mitigating risk, right, and making sure we're compliant. So today we'll go through the journey of APM, see how we can improve reliability, safety, and efficiency in the space of manufacturing as a focus point. So before we start, we need to talk about what is really happening in the world today. And it's all about data, right? Everything's revolving around data. And data is basically what we call the heart of the digital transformation, or the lifeblood of the digitization process. So let's see what this actually really means, right? So as you can see on your screen here, IDC projected and also estimated that in 2019, we would basically consume about 40 zettabytes of data. Now, 40 zettabytes of data, so we know what this really means in our everyday world, it's about 3,000 times of the Netflix catalog is 1 zettabyte. And if you convert it upwards, you see 230 billion, DVDs is 1 zettabyte, burnt data. Now, if you multiply that by 40 times, you get 40 zettabytes. So that's a lot of data, right? And we're talking about now extending that out into 2025 to 175 zettabytes. Now we're talking taking those DVDs, stacking them end to end, and going to the moon 23 times, or going around the world 222 times. To me, that's wow. Now, we need a platform, we need something which is very robust from an APM perspective to manage that effectively and ensure reliability and efficiency, not forgetting safety as well. So from an industry perspective, we're estimating that we're going to consume about 50 zettabytes. Now, this is industry as a whole, but from a manufacturing standpoint, what does this really mean to you, right? So in APAC, we found that more than 50% of APAC is actually looking at using data, which, from an asset management perspective, which will significantly change or has already changed business practices, okay? It's also shown that it is the top data source moving forward for APAC region in terms of manufacturers to integrate into the existing systems. So the data that's available from an asset performance perspective is becoming more and more prevalent, more and more important, okay? And we can see some real clear recognition. Now, to my brothers and sisters out there who are in the oil and gas and utilities, it's the same thing, the same trends, right? But if we're focusing back on manufacturing, we can see that over 50% again already started piloting edge computing in manufacturing, right? So going to edge, or going from edge to enterprise, edge to cloud, etc. And we'll talk about that more so in our next webinar, right? The technology around cloud and how we enable cloud. So what is this then really sort of saying to us? It's saying that APM has a lot of potential, okay? And we need to harness that potential. So from a overall perspective, we're looking at reducing maintenance labor costs by 15 to 20%. We're talking about mechanical efficiencies, 8 to 10%. Spare parts inventory management, we're talking about improved availability, up to 20%. So there's a lot of promises, right, that APM can bring to you, to your industry, to your business, right? And so what we need now to see is how we translate that into the industry specific. So let's focus more so on manufacturing. We're talking here that 40%, and now we're talking OEMs, right? OEMs wanting to basically leverage off IoT data, intelligent diagnostics, and resolve problems autonomously or automatically, right? So lessening the number of critical equipment by 2024, and hence reducing downtime by 25%. Now that's quite considerable when you think about it, right? So reducing unplanned downtime by 25% is a fair number. Now we can see that again in other industries as well, in oil and gas, where they're looking at reducing downtime, unplanned downtime, by 15% today to less than 5%, right? Same thing in the utilities as well. So as an industry as a whole, we see the common trend, but industry is moving very, very fast, and we need to be prevalent and aware of that. So in that way, the message that I'm bringing today is that we need to do something. We need to do differently. We need to maximize asset safety. We need to maximize how we run our operations. We might need to make it more robust. We need to enable technology in the way we need it, right? Not so much letting technology dictate how we should operate. Okay, so what you'll see today from an Aviva APM platform perspective, and I'm very proud to say this, that we're ahead of this game, right? We're creating solutions for client specific requirements, specific needs by generating roadmaps, tangible benefits, looking at technology as an enablement, digitalizing core processes, and that's the #1 pain point in manufacturing today, right? So it's about enabling paperless processes, making sure that data can be digitalized, and then we can do something with it, right? Redefining how we actually address problems and how we actually interrelate and interconnect with the different stakeholders within the business. Okay, so overall driving improvement in reliability, safety, and also efficiency. So moving forward from here, I'm going to start here and go into a polling question just to get everybody involved. I know it's a Friday morning, so let's get everybody involved, Claire, and let's pose the polling question to start with.
Okay, so we would want to get your opinion on in the current volatile environment, what is your driver to implement APM solutions in your manufacturing environment? So please select one of the options there. A is to improve overall equipment effectiveness, OEE of assets, which I believe that this KPI is pretty familiar to a lot of manufacturing personnel here. Second is to reduce overall manufacturing cost, improve safety and compliance, increase manufacturing productivity and throughput. And the last one would be no reason. We are just happy with the way that we are currently operating. So please let us know your opinion here. All right.
Great. I'll give you 1 minute to poll, or maybe less, maybe 30 seconds to poll, and then we'll move forward. And I hope people on the session today are not going to basically say that they're happy with the way things are. So I think there's always room for improvement. So let's see how our audience basically polls, and we'll address this a bit later as part of the results. Okay. Let's move forward then. So just give me a second. I'm just driving this. Right. So from an Aviva standpoint, how do we achieve this? Okay, so now we're talking APM, bringing this value to you as a client, bringing this value to you as a customer. We focus on our 5 key main areas, as you can see in your screen. So asset performance, monitoring, control, plan and schedule, operate, optimize, engineer, procure, construct. Today, we'll be focusing more on the APM side, but we just need to make sure that we understand that, we've brought value to well over 16,000 clients globally, over multiple industries, being able to translate this into hundreds of millions of savings in terms of preventing downtime safely. Okay, so we've proven, we've done it, we know what we're doing in this space, and we're here to share our domain expertise. People like myself, been in this industry over 20 years, ready to share what we can do in terms of this journey. Now, let me just try. Sorry, I'm having a bit of issue with this PowerPoint. Okay, so from a digital transformation journey, where do we start, right? So from an Aviva perspective, we look at 6 key main areas. We look at people, processes, objectives, information architecture, technology, and also execution, right? So we know people are the most valuable assets. We need to ensure that we understand how they behave, what the culture is, and how they can integrate into the next part, which is processes. Ensuring we have the right process, making it as efficient as possible, connecting to your company's objectives. So what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that your organization wants to achieve? It's very different in the short term and the long term compared to other clients. Then we look at what we call information architecture, and you'll look at a simple architecture a little bit today, where I'll talk about how we move data seamlessly, because we need to understand what data do you need, what data do you want to show, and then basically how we can leverage of it, how we can harness over it, right, to make it operational to your requirements. Couple that with technology. So we have a lot of technology, and what you'll see today as well is that Aviva's platform is agnostic, right? So you can leverage off your existing products, existing applications, and connect that onto the same platform, and we can make it all come together, right? So there's no need for you to outdate your applications unless they're really not functionally meeting your need as an end customer. Tying that together with execution, effectively ensuring that the right accountabilities are assigned and we can recognize the right matrix through the right metrics through the process. Okay, so being accountable. So that's also very, very important. Now, when we look at the 5 key areas, and you saw this already before, okay, so now I'm going to focus more on what the challenges are in asset performance management. You can see on the right-hand side there is plenty. Okay, IIoT integration, smart KPIs. From a manufacturing perspective, OEE, OLE calculations are very important, right? So when you're looking at equipment and you're looking at the line, you're looking at different aspects of the factory, very important. How we look at process management, how do we bring predictive in? And I'm going to talk more about that in the next webinar, but I'll touch on it today as well, okay? Data integrity. So there's a lot of challenges that we need to do. And why do we do this? We want to be able for you to manage your actual risk. Okay, you need to be able to be non-reactive. You need to be able to prevent production losses. Nobody wants production downtime. Be able to protect your market share. okay, to your stakeholders. That's also very important. Ensuring that you meet regulatory requirements and sort of limiting the amount of remediation work that you need to do, right? And obviously, at the end of the day, improve quality, production, right? Strong drivers in manufacturing, strong drivers in other parts of the industry as well. And at the end, we want to decrease the amount of production and maintenance costs as a whole. Okay, so pretty straightforward end goals, but quite solid challenges that we need to basically address. So from here, it's a good time now to introduce the platform, the applications that come into this, right? So you can see on the right side, to address the challenges, we connect it to our main 5 portfolio areas: asset performance management, the 6 philosophy contributors that we talked about before, and we break it down into 3 key areas, right? The first one being strategize, as you can see on the right there, and then moving to analyze, and then moving to maintain, right? So once you've done that, once you've strategized what you want to do, analyze it, and maintain, and able to maintain it, you then need to visualize it, right? You need to bring all of that together as a single source of operational truth, which is reflective of your organization. Okay, this is not cut, copy, paste of someone else and bring it to you, right? Because it needs to show what KPIs do you want to see, what kind of metrics are you looking at, what kind of dashboarding requirements you need. Do you need 1D, 2D, 3D imagery? And we'll see a bit about that a bit later. Okay, so once we do all of that, I've just highlighted here some of the key areas I'll be addressing today, and my colleague Jet will be also addressing in more detail around mobile operator and also enterprise asset management. Okay, so let's get moving forward and see, where do we start? So we start normally with what we call an APM assessment. Okay, so generally clients not really sure where they are, what they need to do, what should they do first on a roadmap in this digitalization process. For some clients, it can be very daunting, okay, because we have limited budget. We want to be able to maximize that as long as we can. So before we connect, collect, analyze, and act upon anything in your facility, we build a strategy. Okay, so what is that strategy doing for you? It's basically telling you, what is your current state today as an organization? What are you doing, and where are the gaps? Where do you need to basically address that? Once you know what that is, you can address all the low-lying fruit as recommendations, tie that into something a bit tangible, and start that journey. So you got a 1-year roadmap, 2-year roadmap, 3-year roadmap. How much money do you need to spend? How much money do you need to budget as we go across that? So by doing that, we address a lot of our clients' expectations around, how do you stay focused? Okay, how do we increase confidence from the shop floor all the way up to the board level? How do you turn that into a business case when you need to take that to your senior management? How do you basically improve reliability, maintainability, availability, operation and maintenance inspections cost reductions? Okay, all very, very important themes, all very reflective, right? And the reason why we address this is because we know at Aviva how complex it really is. Okay, there is so many drivers that are going to basically relate to one another: business processes, system platforms, asset data, the organization as a dynamic. So what we really want to be able to do from this APM assessment is to give you a 360-degree transparent view of what is actually happening in your organization, so that you can make the next smart decisions for the future. Okay, so this current state analysis is very important. It basically really sets you up and gives you that bird's eye view of your organization as a whole, because we all look at things differently, and you need a non-biased approach. You need someone from outside the organization to tell you exactly what is actually happening inside. So how do we address it? Very simply, we look at it from 3 dimensions. We look at maintenance operations, we look at your business context, and we look at visual asset condition. Okay, and I'm just going to briefly go into this so you get a feel for what the APM assessment is all about. So I'll start with the business context, and you can see here on the left side, what we're really looking for is, how is your business currently operating, right? And we really want to create value by maximizing reliability, quality, first part. We want to be able to manage your costs and budgets. We want to be able to make it safe and compliant, and use your resources very carefully. Now, the key note here to the audience out there today is that we want to know what that 1% means to you. Okay, 1% to your organization is very different to the next organization 1%, because we will give you a promise to decrease downtime, increase quality, etc., with a percentage, and we'll tell you how you can achieve that. Now, this is my main gripe. I see a lot of industry professionals who give those promises with no justification. They'll say, okay, we'll decrease your downtime by 5%. We'll increase your compliance or decrease your maintenance cost by 2%. But what does that really mean? How much effort is that really going to take? How much investment do you need as an organization to make that happen? Okay, all really good questions that you need to know before you start this journey. And you've already started this journey. That doesn't matter because we can still integrate in that sort of process. So when we're looking at business context, we look at different KPIs, we look at different measures, we look at over 10 cross-industry benchmarks, one being total maintenance cost versus over asset replacement value. Right, this is really a fundamental ratio, which really tells you what shape your base asset is at the moment. Okay, so basically it's saying how much maintenance are you spending against the value of your asset. You don't want to over maintain, under maintain. So we get a nice little balance and understand where you are at. Then we look at working culture, automation in terms of your facility and how that impacts your overall, again, total maintenance cost and asset replacement value. Okay, how engaged are your teams from a working culture? How automated is your facility? What's working and what is actually not working from a modus operandi perspective? We also look at predictability, right? So this is a very good ratio. We call it the fire brigade ratio because it's all about reactive maintenance and proactive, right? Where do you sit? How much of it is really reactive? And how much of it can you see coming? Predictive, right? And how does strategic management culture, working, and operational sustainability all affect this? Okay, so a lot of aspects that we look at from that perspective. So once we've done the business context, we'll go into the maintenance operations. Now, this is 15 core areas around APM that we look at when we benchmark against industry. So you will know where you sit against your peers. Okay, so understanding where you sit is good, one. Understanding where your peers sit, two, and then building a roadmap to get there. Okay, because that's best in class, right? So you want to try and get towards best in class. So, and then thirdly, we look at visual asset condition. And I'm just going to make this very nice and simple. Depending on the age of the asset will determine what is the best strategy. Okay, young facility, old facility, two very, very different approaches. Okay, so visual asset condition, how you do housekeeping, what is the life of the age at the moment of the asset, what are the other aspects that we need to take into consideration, like CAPEX, OPEX, costing, budgets, financials. We'll take it all into consideration, look at the visual asset condition as a whole, bring it all together under 5 key areas: people, process, data, systems, and culture. So everything we do, we look at people, process, data, systems, and culture. 5 main aspects, that come together, okay, or elements that come together. So at the end of the day, at the end of the APM assessment, you'll get a maturity profile. It'll tell you, where are you today? Are you sitting at reactive, planned, proactive? Now, if you're sitting at reactive or static, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing, in my opinion, because you have a huge potential of improvement. Okay, and then we can basically then start looking at what that roadmap looks like in the first year, second year, third year, and what you actually need to do in terms of process, people, systems, data, and culture to get there. Okay, what applications do you need to deploy? How do we prioritize it? What is your current deficiency in your plant team? Maybe there's a bit of knowledge transfer that's required. Maybe we need to look at different elements again within the analysis, all being done in a period of between 6 to 8 weeks. And we can do it all end to end, give you a comprehensive execution plan, and away we go, right? Benchmark, opportunity, ROI, and opportunity for expansion and improvement in terms of recommendations. Once we've done that, once you've got that roadmap, then we can start looking at architecture, right? And I'm just going to show you a quick architecture here on how we can get there. So let's say, for example, we've identified some key areas of improvement, and then we say, right, now let's look at an architecture on how we're going to deploy this. So this is something that I work with my clients at the moment, and how we actually build this journey. So from an asset strategy optimization perspective, we basically are able to deploy RCM, FMICA, availability, lifecycle costing, spare parts optimization into your facility, okay, through our product. If you don't have the failure modes, failure mechanisms, the data, maybe you don't even have a CMMS, maybe you don't have an EM system, right? We can use object type templates to bring that data in. Okay, once you bring that data in, we can actually then create an instance of that data once you've done your analysis, so you can see how critical your asset is, right? So whether it's a line, whether it's a motor, whether it's a pump, whether it's a compressor, whether it's an extruder, depending on what kind of process you're doing, we can pull that together. Then you can determine from there what is your best maintenance strategy to mitigate that risk, whether it's critical, non-critical, do I go predictive, do I go time-based, do I let it just run to fail? And then from there, I create an instance back into my library. And basically, through that process, I'm starting to create a continuous improvement loop of data set within my library. So it's going to become very specific to the content of your organization. Taking it one step further, we embed that into the library. You can see that on the right-hand side there, some instances of failure modes, mechanisms, MTTFs, and all that data coming through. We then take it one step further and then we connect it to EAM system, whereby we can actually synchronize it and integrate this into an existing ERP system, which my colleague will talk about a bit later. And then we start bringing in data. Okay, now we're starting to integrate from a level 2, level 3 down into the shop floor, because we want to start seeing what's happening down at the shop floor, right? So we build that asset hierarchy, we synchronize it with your EAM, we integrate it to your existing ERP, and then we start deploying initiatives. So in this case here, you can see we've taken a very critical asset. We've now built a predictive analytics strategy. We've used the asset strategy optimization. We've used the library because the library has the prescriptive action in it, and we've built it across there. And we connect it to the site historian to tell you what is actually happening to that asset in real time. Okay. So once you know what's happening to that asset in real time, we're able then to use the functionality. We'll be able to look at prescriptive actions, fault diagnostics, depending on what's happening, early warnings, obviously, that's what we want to know, right? Connect that back into your EAM system, which then allows you to send notifications. You can even send your notifications to mobility applications, to your emails, to whatever the case may be, and also using a mobile operator. And my colleague again will talk about this a bit later, mobile operator and how we can leverage off that capability moving forward. From there, we create what we call an internal continuous loop as well. So the internal continuous loop allows you to capture failures that you predicted, but not necessarily in your library. Right, so then you can update your library, and away you go. Now, making it very relevant to manufacturing, we now can connect this to MES systems, or what we have also is a digital lean management system, whereby not only are you looking at maintenance instructions, you're now looking at operational management, performance management, quality management to look at overall OEE of your assets. Okay, so on one stream, you got maintenance activities coming out. On the second stream, you have production-driven activities coming out. Okay, all fully integrated, all in the same environment, leveraging of predictive analytics, leveraging of a criticality front end to close this continuous improvement loop, increase reliability, increase efficiency, and addressing safety. Okay, doing all this very, very safely. Now, taking it one step further, we now need to be able to visualize this, right? We want to be able to see the results, right? So whether it's on a phone, whether it's on a control center, or right in the middle of the facility of the plant, we want to bring all this information to you in real time. So whether it's process information, whether it is interfaces to your other third-party information, factory financial content, whether it's, like I said, OEE, OLE requirements, predictive analytics, etc. It's all very, very solution-driven based on what you want to see as an organization. So let's take it one step further, and this is just going to be my introduction, I suppose, small introduction to the next webinar, is then connecting that into what we call the connected worker, right? But before I do that, I just want to show very quickly for all my oil and gas and industry friends out there, there are solutions for oil and gas as well, and industry specific, where reliability modeling is very important, SIL-SIF, RBI, all that is very important. Okay, we can structure it in a similar way, and then we push the solution into what we call a connected worker or connected content, right? So as you can see here, we embed that into the overall unique solution, connecting to your data points on site, bringing it out into the visualization, again, whether it's mobile, whether it's monitors, whether it is a tablet. It's about being able to use that information wherever, from wherever, plan that information wherever, for wherever. Okay, so it's about giving that mobility of that connected worker, being able to execute where you require. So thank you very much for my portion of the presentation this morning. Hopefully it's given you a good introduction into APM and reliability and also efficiency and safety, and how we can address it, how we can address today's challenges, especially around COVID-19. Connected worker is going to become a very big trend moving forward, and I'd like to address it in the next webinar. And I'll pass you now to Jet, who's going to talk in a bit more detail around integration, around EAM to ERP, mobility, and also looking at the digital worker. Okay, thank you.
Hi, thanks, Arvin. That is very fruitful for the sharing of your APM knowledge. So let us welcome our next speaker, Yong Chun Jet. Mr. Jet Yong is the Executive Director and also Business Consultant for Asset Performance Management in Y&Y Technology. He is supporting all businesses related to the enterprise asset management and mobility in the company. His day-to-day responsibility includes analyzing customers' requirements to provide solutions in the enterprise asset performance space. The solutions may also require third-party solutions where necessary to improve the reliability and availability of assets. So Mr. Yong brings along with him 9 years of experience in technical consulting, project management, and business improvement in the oil and gas, and not only that, also the manufacturing industry. Prior to joining Y&Y Technology, he was a business analyst in Accenture Malaysia, working on SAP plant maintenance and reliability projects in Shell. So let's welcome Mr. Jet Yong. I'll pass the screen to him.
Hi, thank you, Claire. Can you hear me now?
We can hear now.
Okay, thank you. So thanks Arvin for the great introduction. I think I just want to say good morning everyone. My name is Mr. Jet. So I'm, like Claire mentioned, I'm in charge of the asset performance management portfolio for Y&Y. So I think the good thing about asset performance management, like what Arvin has mentioned, right? Lots of people do not know where to begin or where to start. So I hope that Arvin has given you a good introduction on what are the core portions, or what are the core parts of the asset performance management that you can start with your assessment, right? And then there's lots of components inside. So as you can see, I won't go through what he has mentioned, and of course he gave a good introduction that what I'm going to show you now is a real example of what we've introduced to our customers and how our customers start with their APM journey. So if you can see here, what I've highlighted here, the mobile, I'm going to talk more about the EAM segment and the enterprise asset management. So how do we implement this solution to customers, and how do they start their journey? Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, Arvin highlighted perfectly just now that there was 4 strategy that we normally implement to our customers, right? Connect, collect, analyze, and act. So of course, if you look at this, connect means you have real-time integration. You need data, right? After you have data, you need to collect the data, be it operations data, engineering data, or inspection data. Once you get the data, you need to do analysis, right? After doing the analysis, then you need to act on it, right? So this is where I come in, and this is where I'm going to show you on what type of applications or what type of solutions we have for you to do your maintenance, from your planning to scheduling to your work execution using mobile. And then as well as after acting on the data and after collecting and acting on the maintenance job, what data can you see, right? After spending money on various applications, what are dashboards that the management would like to see? And with that, how can you improve your asset reliability as well? Okay, so in Y&Y, or in the Aviva roadmap as well, it's quite clear that these are the roadmaps that we've implemented to our customers. So just to elaborate further, right? You might be familiar with this if you have a manufacturing facilities already, right? You connect data using your DCS and PLC, and you have your SCADA system. Then you collect using your data historian, okay? And then when you do analysis, we have the machine learning part, and also that is the one that the next session we'll talk about on. Now we talk about Industry 4.0, right? Collecting data and doing maintenance, proactive maintenance is all is good, but what is next, right? So that's the predictive part that we'll talk about on our next webinar. Okay, and then the last part, EM integration and asset management solution, that's what I'm going to talk about next. So essentially, the core of the Aviva asset management software or CMMS software is called Avantis.pro. As you can see here, there are three main components of the CMMS for Avantis. First is maintenance management. Second is materials management and procurement. I think people who are well versed with CMMS, or you've been exploring CMMS for your organization, you know maintenance is one of the main modules that you need. For Avantis, like what Arvin has mentioned, this is a software agnostic. So our application, we are able to integrate to various ERP solutions, right? Like Microsoft Dynamics, SAP, and Oracle. I'll show you some examples that we've done for our customers. And for maintenance management, it's very important because in your CMMS system, you need to map all your assets in a system. We as consultants, we will help you to look at your assets. What are the spare parts required, common spare parts required? What are the assets required, and what are the manpower required as well? Okay, so with maintenance management, you're able to plan your work management, plan your scheduling, make sure that all your technicians, after they complete a job, the time capture, they are able to key in as well, their time, and also all the root cause analysis. I'll show you some sample reports after this. Okay, and material management is the inventory management. So I think one of the important things about asset management is your minimum and maximum stock level. I think you find that sometimes when you try to do maintenance, you find that, oh, this spare part is not there, right? Or you have not enough spare part. Or for example, if you have the next 3 months or 6 months, your PM, you're not sure what spare parts is needed. And when the time comes, you have not enough spare parts. So inventory management or material management helps our customers, right, to plan ahead when your maintenance is due, or your next 3 or 6 months, whether you have enough spare parts. Okay, and the procurement part, of course, is to purchase, right? You can come up with PR and POs to buy, and also we have lots of customers who said that, okay, we already have our own purchasing software, right? So do I still need to have this procurement module? So you have the options for our customers to integrate with ERP system. So lots of them purchase our software and do integration with ERP. So for example, when the PR is raised in Avantis, the PR will be sent automatically to ERP system. So our system can work standalone, and also we are able to integrate with your existing procurement system or your ERP systems. Just some quick example of the value that Avantis CMMS or EAM has given to our customers, right? So like what Ari mentioned, there's lots of benefits, and customers always get thrown into these numbers, right? They can save, for example, 25% improved labor utilization. How do they save money from the early warning of their motor failures, right? So all these numbers, it depends on industry, right? Of course, these big numbers could come from oil and gas. Some of our manufacturing customers, they see that their time to approve or time to attend to a breakdown has already quickly shortened, right? Because the moment they get a failure notification, someone reports a failure, the maintenance manager will get the notification straight away, and they can act on it straight away, right? So we can't really put any values on safety. We can't put any ROI on safety, right? Because you have to know that your assets is your business, right? If your asset do not perform properly or your assets fail, then your business will suffer as well. So I think the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'll show you how using this CMMS can give you data and help you to improve your asset efficiency. Okay, I'm just going to go straight into some case study that we've done for our customers. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the Q&A if you want to know about more detail. So digital transformation is one of the keyword for APM, right? So you want to this example here, you can see this top part. We have successfully digitized our customers' form, manual form. I'm sure most of you here, if you do not have any CMMS, these forms are very familiar to you, right? These manual forms on top, we have given our customers a mobile tablet. When they key in into our Avantis system, and they can print the report out digitally straight away. So instead of using paper to write every day doing inspection and submit to someone, and someone needs to key in, they just need to key into this mobile interface, and all the results are there. Okay, so we have successfully digitized our customers' manual form into digital form. This is our customers' old practice. Like I said, the form is just bigger. Traditionally, they use checklist. They just tick. I think most of you are doing that as well if you do not have any CMS system. And also some key parameters like flow, temperature, they are all taking manually. So what we have done is give them a mobile tablet. So in this example, we are giving them Samsung Galaxy Tab Active. So for oil and gas, of course, we do have X-Proof tablet as well. But for the general industry, this type of tablet will be enough. So dust-proof, drop-proof. So this is the tablet that we have given to our customers. And if you can see, this is the mobile inspection practice that we implemented to our customers. If you can, I think it's quite clear here that you can see some questions. For example, is the temperature or pressure working in normal? Is the meter working in normal or not? Right. So all these are checkbox. So the technician or the engineer just need to check and they can tick. Okay. So this is a checklist. So they do it every day, daily. And if there's any problems, or for example, if they walk around your plant and you saw that something has broken down or something that needs to repair, you are able to create a work request automatically. And you can see work request. You can create a work request to notify the relevant maintenance department. So the good thing about our CMMS system is every asset is mapped to each department. So they would know, for example, if production line 1 will need to be reported to maintenance manager 1 for line 1. So automatically the work request or the work order will be routed to that department. Okay. And the good thing about mobile is you can take a photo, because I think more often than not, if your facilities are huge and big, if you sometimes if you use handwriting, you are unable to describe the problem accurately, right? So with photos and with descriptions, the maintenance manager or the maintenance team are able to plan the maintenance properly. Okay, so and a good thing is there's also a GPS location tracking. So whenever the work request is created or the task is done, the GPS location will be captured automatically. Okay. The next thing as well, I think now during the time of COVID, we are quite familiar with the My Sejahtera QR code, right? So one thing that we have as well for this CMMS system is some customers, they would tag their assets with QR codes. So whenever they need to do an inspection, the technician just need to take the mobile phone, scan the QR code of that particular asset, for example, that particular motor, then all the relevant preventive maintenance procedure will come up, and then they just need to do their checklist on their mobile phones, right? So this is easy. So even I think this helps a lot in helping technicians identify the correct assets and the correct steps to do. So for example here, if they scan the barcode, they can see what is the entity. So what is the asset name, what is the asset type, in this example, major equipment, what is the criticality, and where's the location as well. And then the good thing is they're able to see the previous work order history. So I think it's very good as if they take some values, right? If you take a pressure values or flow values, if the values is too high or too low, the system or the mobile app will tell you that no, you key in the values is too high or too low. So you're able to inform the technician straight away, right? Whether the value is correct or not, or the threshold is too high. So this is a good thing about the mobile application. You would know that whether the technician is doing the right thing, and if someone is new, he will know as well that this is out of the threshold. Okay. This another example, you can see the previous historical reading, like just like what I mentioned. So if today is 15, the pressure value is 15, yesterday was 17. If it's too high or too low, you are able to set the threshold. Okay, so after doing all these maintenance on your mobile phone, these are the sample report, like I mentioned again, that you're able to see all the results. Okay, just quickly skip through. So again, all these checkboxes are not manual anymore. It's all printed directly from the computer after doing the inspection task. So these are all digitized already. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is, we got a lot of feedback from our customers after implementing this system is the approval. Yeah, because imagine you have a big manufacturing facilities, you have so many maintenance tasks, so many PMs coming, right, every week and every month. There's lots of manual papers that the maintenance manager will need to verify and sign. With Avanti's approval system, right, now everything is digitized approval now. So if you can see here, we have the approval with full audit trail. So work order number, what is the task, who is the person approving and the approval date. So you can have the full audit trail of the approval of the task. Okay, so and this is done via the approval inbox web interface. So all the maintenance tasks will be listed after it's completed. It will be listed here. So the maintenance manager simply need to go in and click. If they want to check more detail on the work order, they can go in and check the results. After it's done, they will just click approve here. Once it's approved, they are able to reject as well. So when it rejects, we are able to set the approval routing as well, right? So if the maintenance manager rejects, you will go back to the technician or the supervisor to reroute again. So for the approval inbox, there's lots of routings that we are able to do. So you can do either maintenance manager 1 have to approve, or maintenance manager 2 have to approve, either one or both. So all this maintenance approval routing, we are able to do it. Okay, and also I think the important things about maintenance as well is the scheduling system. If you need to have a good scheduling tool so that you know which technician, if you have 10 technicians in your plant, every week, what is the capacity? So you can do capacity planning via our VIP advanced scheduling tool. So if you can see here, each technician are given each work order and each task, and what is the work time that that is needed, and what is the available time left in the week. So I think with this type of scheduling tool, there will be no more dispute of this person, this technician is more free than the other technician, right? So you're able to track what are the tasks that they need to do, and are they able to do more in that week, right? I'll show you more examples later. Then that after using maintenance, the mobile maintenance, what type of KPI that you are able to see. Okay, and besides that, I know that some customers and some of our customers as well, when they do work requests or when they want to that they do not have maybe more budget to buy more tablets or more computers. So we even have a work request and a work permit web application for the technicians to just go to a computer, maybe at one common area to raise work requests. So this is a web interface that they are able to raise work requests if they have a remote working station in their plant, right? So this is a shared computer, for example. So we are able to do that as well. Okay, so in the asset strategy, I think just now Arvin mentioned clearly as well that you can do asset planning, you can do you can do assessment, right? So you can collect all the data. What after executing all the maintenance tasks, right? Just now I show you what after keying all the mobile data, what can you see? What can you track, right? So I think there's a few good examples that I can show you here. After executing all the maintenance tasks and planning, right? These are the main example of maintenance dashboard that you are able to see. Okay, so you are able to see the time card, or how many, for example, how many hours the technician has spent, what is the work count, right? What is the total overview of the outstanding jobs that you have in your plant. Okay, and another example is just now we talk about how much are you spending on your assets, right? So here, this example, you can see after keying on the maintenance data, you can see each asset, what is your plan versus actual cost. Because if you are spending more than your budget, and then you are able to track. So this example, right? You can see your planned cost for this pump is supposed to be 100,000, for example, but you're already spending more. So for each maintenance task that you've completed, right? You are able to track how many hours that the engineer or the technician has spent, and what are the spare parts that you spend to change and to use. So you're able to track all the data here. So why is this important? This is always important for budget purpose, and also to track how much are you spending, right? So if next year the maintenance manager will need to know what is the budget I need for this department, they can just pull out this report and check, okay, this year I've spent 1 million, for example, on this section. So next year I would need something more or something less, and also can let them decide whether do I need to replace this particular asset or not, or I just keep on repairing the same asset, spending more money, right? Because if something is worth 10,000, for example, and you've spent 20, 30,000 doing maintenance, then of course it's wise to change the whole asset instead. Okay. So you can see the technician productivity as well. You can see how many hours spent, right? How many work orders that they spent. So all this data is captured from where? From the mobile tablet just now, when the technician is doing their job. Okay, and you can also track your repair costs, internal, external costs. If you have external contractor repairing as well, you're able to track what is the what are the costs, or track all the POs and the PO values that you've given to the external contractor as well. Okay, and you can able to track all your work order status, right? So you can see February, March, April, May, what are the inspection type you have, and how many percentage are open and closed. I think all these reports, maintenance manager or plant manager would greatly appreciate, because if they want this data now, well, without all this system, it would take a few days or a week. So by the time they get all this information, maybe the work order are already due. Okay, so this is just various example. You can see for each production line or for each plant, they are able to see how many job is open, how many job is completed, how many job is closed. So you can track the status of all your maintenance tasks here. Okay, plan versus actual cost, I already mentioned just now. The next important thing, I think, just a couple one, is the compliance report. Like just now I mentioned, you could not really put a value on safety, right? Because if you know in your plan, you have a low priority job, medium priority, and high priority, right? High priority jobs, for example, maybe you need to complete the maintenance job in two days or 48 or 24 hours. So if you have if you are tracking maintenance via our CMMS system, you know that each maintenance task, if it's you need to complete in 24 hours, the high priority job, then the technician will need to complete within that 24 hours, right? If the technician completes 2 or 3 days after it, then the maintenance task will be non-compliant. So you're able to track your compliance of all your maintenance tasks in your plant. So I think this is quite important, because without this type of tracking system, you will not know, right, if the high priority jobs are complete in time or not. Okay. And another thing, if you talk about maintenance and reliability, we get root cause analysis and failure code as well. So where do all these root cause analysis come from? It is coming from when the technician are attending the maintenance job on site using a mobile tablet. After they complete the job, right, they can put the root cause analysis. So all this root cause analysis will be tabulated in the maintenance dashboard, so that the maintenance manager or the plant reliability manager can go and look at the plant and say, okay, these are the commonly found problems in our plant, right? Wear and tear, for example, environmental issue, or someone misuse it, right? So these are the root cause analysis, and they can go and do something about it. So those are the data that is very powerful. Like what I mentioned, we need data to act on it. So with this information, your plant reliability is able to improve greatly. Yep. And just a couple more. There's also a special feature for our system, for the Avanti system, to send a report automatically via email to the relevant maintenance manager. So you can send a work request, a report, you can send a PO report as well, right, via email straight away in the system. So they can open up and open the report straight away. Okay. Yeah. So this can be set automatically or manually as well. Okay. So last couple of slides. Maybe I'm taking a bit more time. Just give me 2 more minutes, right? So why Avanti system, right? Just now we mentioned that we are able to integrate to various solutions. So not only standalone, we are able to integrate to the historian system or the MES system, and also to ERP system. So with all this data, we are able to collect data from the plant floor, as well as the and sending to the ERP system. So we can do advanced dashboards. So for example, here you can see that if you have plants around Malaysia, for example, you're able to see all the data, and you can take from various sources, right? You can take from your MES level, or for your plant floor level, and also from your financial information. You can put it all into a dashboard and look at the implications, right? If your plant is down for 1 week, what is the financial implication for that downtime, right? So we are able to do a whole analytics of your plant performance and put it into the dashboard. And also we are able to connect straight to SCADA system, like I mentioned. If the pump has failed, for example, here the pump has shut down, or the pump has failure, straight away our Avanti system will raise a maintenance request or maintenance work order, so that the maintenance manager can act on it straight away. Okay. And besides that, Avantis is also a Microsoft partner, so we are able to do, like I mentioned, financial integration with Microsoft Dynamics, SAP, and Oracle as well. So it doesn't matter what ERP system you have. We have the integration toolkit, so we are able to integrate from PR to PO, inventory system, even to do a checking of your inventory as well. Okay, so there's a readily available adapter. And if what I mentioned just now is not available to what you want. We are able to do some customization as well and various platform integration for you. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm taking too long. This is my last slide. So hopefully what I showed you just now and what Arvin has mentioned, you can see, right? For the whole APM asset life cycle, there's various functionalities and there's various part to it, right? So what I've showed you is what our customer has been doing, right, and how they start their APM journey. So yeah, so hopefully the next session that we have, we are going to show you as well how all this can integrate to the cloud and how you do predictive maintenance. Okay, so I'll hand it over back to Claire. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jet, for your sharing. Now we can get an enterprise asset management for digitization of all works that allows more transparent activities, right? Like what Mr. Arvin mentioned earlier, there is massive data everywhere. Now with this, we can definitely get reliable data for improvement analysis. So now we are open for Q&A sessions, and please feel free to drop your questions at the chat column. We have gathered some of the questions throughout the entire sharing by Arvin and Jet just now, so we will go through the questions. Okay.
And I think while we're waiting on some of the questions, maybe we can address the polling.
Oh,
Claire.
So yeah, just now we have had a poll, and regarding what kind of improvement that we are all expecting, right? So we got a 59% improved overall equipment effectiveness as your priority, 20% reduce overall manufacturing costs, and 12% improve safety and compliance. Arvin, do you have anything to add on from the results?
Not surprising, absolutely not surprising. I think the number one driver in manufacturing, and I'm assuming majority were manufacturing today who polled this question, they're really looking at how they can track OEE and also OLE, right? And if you remember the workflow that I was showing you before, our MES and also our well, more so the MES really allows you to capture real-time productivity at the shop floor and what's actually happening there. Right, so when we're looking at process manufacturing, right, can be used for discrete as well, or the DLM solution. Now we can go into more further details offline here. So if you're more interested, hit us up at Aviva. We can talk in more details. But yeah, the results are not surprising at all. A lot of our manufacturers really want to get hold of this because this is where they see value. Now, that doesn't mean that manufacturing costs or compliance or productivity is not important, but we see this general trend that a lot of our clients are looking at this OEE number, okay? And we've really streamlined our processes, our applications, our technology to make this very transparent and very achievable for our clients.
Okay.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks a lot. So can we will go to the Q&A session now. So we've got a question from the floor. From an RCM perspective, what do you recommend clients to do if they want to use the manufacturing related failure behaviors, but either they do not have EAM systems yet or not sure on the quality of failure data available on the current CMMS system? So Arvin, will you be able to address this question?
Yeah, I'll try to address this. This is quite a big question. Okay, so two aspects here. What we find in general in manufacturing is one, some manufacturing companies don't really harness an EAM or CMMS system very well, right? So they're still relying on the ERP majority to do a lot of the work. Now, if you don't have that data available, don't worry. Like I mentioned before, and I showed you in the flowchart, you can actually use the library to get you kick-started to actually start gathering that data and start basically creating that continuous improvement loop. Now, the good thing about what we do at Aviva is also if you do have data sets sitting in scattered different places, we can bring that together. So it's all about digitalizing all that data, bringing it into one repository, and then doing something smart with it, right? So again, digital transformation. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the challenge is, how it's sitting, where it's sitting, what format it's sitting, structured, unstructured, wherever it is, we'll do something with it, and we'll basically contextualize it and then use that failure behavior, turn it into failure modes, mechanisms, MTTFs, and then align that to maintenance strategies, maintenance tasks, and then connect that to your equipment strategy level. Okay, so mitigating that front end risk and then connecting it right through whether we need to deploy predictive, time-based, reactive maintenance, run to fail maintenance, etc. Okay, so more than happy to help you with this challenge. So if you're experiencing this, again, come and hit us up, and we're more than happy to articulate a solution for you.
Okay, that's really a very huge question to be answered. So yeah, please feel free to ask us for more details. Then we can move on to the next question being raised.
Yes.
How user can perform risk assessment, JHA and JSA in the system? And does the system provide details of reliability attributes of components like MTBF, MTTR, MTTF? I think, Arvin, you have mentioned some of it just now. So Jet or Arvin, any of you would like to take the question?
Yeah, look, I'll take this if you don't mind, Jet. I didn't really touch on JHA and JSA, job safety analysis, job hazard analysis today. We have a permit to work system as well. It's called OSM, Operational Safety Management. We can handle that in that process, right? So we can connect that to your risk assessments, whether it's at 4x4, 5x6, 6x6 corporate risk matrices, connect that, and then make that the precursor to your activity on site. So we can go through the approval process, whether it's rejected, approved, and then track that and close that out as required, right? So I don't know whether you saw when I transitioned from the manufacturing slide to the oil and gas slide, just very briefly, it was sitting down the bottom there. It was called OSM, okay? So we can address that, and yes, we can bring those attributes and we can use the attributes of MTBF, MTTR, MTTF, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's in oil and gas, whether it's in utilities. The way we address it is slightly different because all industries are different, right? So the way we would do it for manufacturing would be slightly different to oil and gas or utilities, right? But yes, definitely achievable. Come and talk to me and we can articulate a solution, no problem.
Yeah, just to add, I think just now I showed you some dashboard about reliability as well, right? So MTBF, MTTR, MTTF. If you have this information, good. But if you do not, and our system is able to capture, because just now when I show you the mobile maintenance, right? Every time when the technician completes a job or starts a job, the mobile app will capture straight away. So and how do they know when the asset has failed, right? Because if you want to calculate MTBF, you would need to know, right, from failure to failure, when is the mean time, right? So every time the work request is created on the asset, the system will know that means the asset has already failed. So they will capture the time. So the time to complete, so that's where the system will calculate for you. So MTBF and MTTR, the dates and time, they are all captured in the system. So you're able to generate the reports as well. Yeah.
Just want to add one other thing to that, just very quickly, sorry, is that also depending on industry that you're coming from, how you capture that in terms of data integrity is also plays a big part, right? So if you're looking at, if you're connecting it to an SAP system or something like that, the way you define your catalog profiles, how you close that notification, how many samples of that same event are you happening, and whether it's captured in the same way will play a big part, okay? So the data integrity side of it will impact, like Jet is saying, yes, we can see the data, that's no problem. Visualization and being able to see the details of the data is one thing. The integrity behind it to make the next decision is another thing. Okay, so if there's an integrity issue, then we can help you with that as well. Okay, and again, coming back to libraries, coming back to data sanitization, data cleansing, that side of it, right? And then bring it through that process. Sorry about that, Jet.
No, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's where the Aviva expertise comes in, because like you mentioned, different industry have different benchmark and how you capture the data. So I think it's very important that if which industry you come from, you will let us know, and maybe the data that you have, I think if you send it to us, right, we are able to review as well, and then we can give some advice, right? Arvin, you have many years experience in various industries.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I don't think there's a problem in that I've not faced in the 20 years, which I don't think we can share. That's for sure, because industry, like I said, we're going into the next revolution. Everybody's hyped up about predictive analytics, right? And we'll talk about this in the next webinar, but I always stress focus back on data integrity, because there's no point having predictive analytics, there's no point doing all of this if foundationally, and that's why that functional architecture is very important, foundationally we haven't got that embedded. Okay, and it's all about being able to then build upon it, right? So again, that roadmap is very important. We start somewhere year 2, year 3, so then by the end of year 4, year 5, depending on your objective, right? So looking at the philosophies again, depending on your objective, we can take you through that journey.
Okay, thanks, Jet and also Arvin. We will move to the next Q&A quickly because time is running up. So what are the metrics to monitor the success factor of ABM solution and related ROIs?
Okay, Jet, you want to have a go at this, or do you want me to have a go at this as well?
I think you should have a go first.
Okay. All right, metrics. I love this question. It's phenomenal. Okay, so depending on industry, will depend on what metrics you're looking at. Like we look at the poll question before, OEE is a big one, right? So then that is realistic and related, right? OLE as well. Sometimes difficult to sort of measure for some companies. So we help through that process. Other things we look at is productivity, quality. Yield quality, okay? Depending on the type of process you're having in terms of manufacturing, batch rates, defects, all of the metrics that you want to be able to see then to make the next step decision-making process in your system. Now, if I change industry, then it may shift a little bit, right? So if I'm looking at reliability applies to all, availability, maintainability, right? And how we can actually then translate those metrics into something that can generate return on investment. Now, I talked about before total maintenance costs against asset replacement value, a very strong metric. Okay, so if you sit somewhere between 1 to 2.5%, I would say you're somewhere in the ballpark. If you're above 2.5%, you're probably spending too much on your maintenance against what your value of your assets are. Okay, so that's a very easy indication, and we do that through the APM assessment to see exactly where you're sitting with these metrics. Okay, now again, I've seen dashboards where they've got over 50 metrics. Okay, now some of it is just operational, some of it is lagging indicators, right? Some of it are non-lagging indicators as well. Okay, so they're looking a bit ahead in the future. So all of it can bring value. It just depends on your process, where you are in terms of maturity in your roadmap. Because if you're quite an immature organization in terms of processes, dropping all these metrics isn't going to help you. Right, because you won't be able to capture it. You won't know what to do with it. Your processes will be disjoint. Your people are probably firefighting more than anything else. So we've worked with organizations and companies where on paper they look fantastic. They're doing a great job. But as soon as we dig in and we start looking at, well, hang on, why is your asset replacement value against your maintenance costs so high? Then we realize that, for example, in Asia, the cost of labor in general is a bit lower than the rest of the world, right? So some facilities have the capability, depending on the industry you're coming from, to have a lot of people on site. So there's a plenty of people doing plenty of maintenance. So the metrics become a bit distorted. So we have to look at it from a different perspective to say, okay, well, from a people perspective, is that metric measurable to your overall investment as well? Because there is a fine balance. I think in one organization, they nearly had from a supervisor to the next level down, it's like a 1 to 2 relationship. So 1 supervisor for every 2 subordinates. But industry best practice is saying that you probably need 1 supervisor for somewhere between 5 to 15 subordinates. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely go on and on about this topic, but like I said, feel free to hit me up. LinkedIn, come and talk to me, even via email. More than happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, I think, like you said, for different industry, there's different benchmark, right? So for example, in the oil and gas last time when I was doing, right, I think compliance is one of the important things, because like I said again, right, safety, you can't put a value on safety, right? So compliance, if you have high priority jobs and you are not able to track if you're really completing the job on time. So, you know, if you're in oil and gas, safety is a very important matrix. But if you're in the manufacturing, for example, maybe like Ari mentioned, productivity, if you do not capture the productivity of the people, like I know labor is cheap in Asia, and you're right? And if you can see for one department, you have 10, 20 people, but you are not sure what is your productivity. Are they just, are they using half of your time to do maintenance and the half of their time doing something else? So if you do not have these data to capture, I've showed you so much dashboard and all the reports, but if you have all these dashboard reports and you do not know how to use it, right, then it's a failure as well, right, if to implement the APM solution. So I think,
well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think one aspect that, like there's plenty of KPIs, but whether they add value, like Jed is saying, right, Jed, it depends heavily on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think the first thing is as well to capture the correct data first, right? To capture the correct,
right. Exactly.
Have the correct KPI and dashboard, and then look at that and maybe look for Arvin to say, hey, Arvin, this is all my KPIs. Is this working for me? Is my asset productive? Can I do something more? So the first step is, I think you need to capture the data, because if not, you just rely on the old reports. Like I said, right, sometimes you get 1 month late report, 2 weeks late report, then then you're not even starting your journey. Yeah.
It's really interesting because, like, I speak to a lot of companies, right, from a global perspective, and the number one thing they will say to me first is, well, why do we need an APM assessment? Look at our metrics; it looks fantastic, right? On paper, it looks phenomenal, right? But like I said, the dynamics behind every company, behind every organization in different industries will really impact on what is actually happening behind or underneath the covers, right? So whether you use leading indicators or lagging indicators or metrics and tying that together to give you overall return on investment, it really depends. I say people, process, technology, looking at culture, and looking at, like Jet just mentioned, data. Okay, if you can't access the data, you can't do very much. Okay, so digitization, very important.
Okay, so thanks, Arvin and Jay. Actually, we still have a lot of questions coming from the floor, but looking at the time, I think we will address them separately, personally, to you all. So we will have the last poll session. So yeah, let's see what the poll is. Have this session help you in deciding what's next for your business? So please help to in this one minute time, please help to poll, select your yes or not sure. All right, quickly. Okay, I think we can move on already. Right. So
fantastic.
I'm interested to conduct the Aveva APM assessment to kickstart the digital transformation in my company. So if you require somebody to contact you, or you are not interested, this is the assessment that Arvin has shared just now. Very beneficial.
Yeah, and the other thing to this as well, to the audience out there, and I know a lot of my colleagues out there listening as well, it doesn't matter whether it's APM assessment or APM as in general. If you want to have a chat, if you want to know where you are, you want some help, it's quite daunting, I know. It's a big process. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of money that goes into this. Let us help you. Let us shape this journey with you, and we're more than happy to help. And I come part of the APM assessment as well. So I'll come and say hello once we can travel again.
Okay, so next one. Okay, so I believe a lot of you would have questions and also want to know how to start the APM journey now. So feel free to contact us at the customer care at ctiresources.com.my and look us up in the website shown here. All right. So upcoming in the next webinar, we hope that we will see you again. In the upcoming webinar, basically we will be sharing the predictive and preventive tool in the cloud. And this helps to all of us to look at how cloud initiatives can help in our operational requirements and the role of artificial intelligence and how to strike the right balance. So I hope to see you guys there in the next session again. All right. Thanks a lot.
Just want to add, sorry, just add one more thing to that, Claire. To all the audience out there, if you're joining us for the next webinar, feel free to just hit me up before, maybe this week or something like that, or next week, just to give me an indication of what you want to hear about. If there's any pain points, I'll see whether I can address it as well. It's a very big topic. It's a very exciting thing as well, cloud and AI. So let's try and make it a bit more specific. So if you've got a question, hit me up, or hit Jed up, or hit Claire, any of the people here today, and we'll try and address it where we can. Enjoy your evening.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.